Hello and welcome to my latest Ringo's Model Railway update. This is about the junction that I was talking about in the last video. It runs through all the bits, all the ways I went through it, all the bits and pieces, all of the problems that I had, all of the things that I had to do to solve those problems. It's a bit of a long one, so if you manage to get all the way through it, I raise my hat to you. But if you just want to see the trains running through the junction after it's finished, skip to the end. I'll put a link below for the for that bit. Anyway, without further ado, run VT. Right then, my complicated junction. Well, if you remember from the last time, I had all this stuff. Well, that's what it looks like on a track. So what I've done is, if you remember the two bits of flexi track and bits of this, that, and the other, and crossovers and all that. Well, essentially, I roughly got the length of the flexi track, and I've cut it with this over these crossovers over the top. I've gone so as I've cut it. So if you imagine where the crossover was over a piece of flexi track, like so, I've cut it there and then a little bit, so I know that this end and this end are far longer than I actually need. Now, just to give you a clue, and then this will fit sort of like so, yeah? So there's loads of excess on either end. Right, and there's the crossover, which will eventually join that point there. Okay, now what I intend to do is these joints here, when I bend this flexi track, it's going to skew this because this won't be fixed. So in this instance, I'm going to actually solder there, there, there and there, which effectively makes this into one piece of track. Now I shall position this where is necessary and then work on fixing it to that part of the point. Once that's in position, I shall then secure the whole length of track to this point here, well, to about there. Okay, so there's no pressure going onto there. Then I can bend this round and then fit this point to it and then let that all set. Yeah. So this is going to probably take, given drying time and everything, about 2 days to just do this little bit of point work. But that's the plan. Something I've discovered, for some reason the flexi track that I bought originally was a bit different than this new stuff. I'm doing quite a tight curve, and as you can see it's only broken on one side and there's little nubs there. And what I've discovered is if you cut them little nubs out, don't know how well you can see them, yeah, it makes you bend the track more. Because obviously on the other stuff that I had, that wasn't there, which makes this quite good because it means it holds its shape really well. But just cut them out if you're doing tight curves, it stops the track from deforming. Okay, so I soldered it up. Not a brilliant soldering job, but I didn't get any on the inside. That's cool. I think that's the bit that matters. Well, that'll be hidden obviously when you balance it up, but I know people say about soldering that you shouldn't solder these joints because of expansion and stuff, but to be honest, it's the only feasible way I could think of doing this without causing too much stress on these joins here. Because otherwise, the amount of pressure that's on this, it would just pop out. There was no way that it was going to stay in. But as you can see, where are we now? It's that one. The actual curve on that, there's going to be quite a bend in there, where it'll fit in there. And the amount of bend on that's going to be quite severe, so there you go. That's why I've done it. But yeah, it turned out well. like I say, it was the only feasible way to ensure that that stayed solid and lined up all those joints. Something else I've been doing now, I saw that you could get like droppers on fish plates. I thought, oh, I'll give that a go, and so I made some, and I was quite proud of myself because they worked, and I worked out a way of doing it. But I don't think I'll be doing it again for these, because do you see this plastic bar here? Getting one of them in there without snapping that is like mad. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like insane. So what I'm going to do for so don't worry about this, this will be all coming up. I've got to finish doing all bits and pieces. I'm just putting stuff in for positioning at the moment. But what I'm going to be doing next time, I think, is I'll put the fish plate on, and then I will solder the dropper to the fish plate in position and then slide it back. I think that's probably the best option. Still a bit worried about it, but now I've worked out how to do it cleanly, I think I probably won't melt the plastic, but I'll give it a whirl on one, see what happens. I mean these aren't cheap, these things, you know, they're like, don't know, what do they pay for these from Hatton's? I think it's £8.50 or something, so yeah, I'm willing to sacrifice £8.50 once, but not more than once, if you know what I mean. So I'll give it a go and see what happens. I think I better have a tidy up as well. I'm a very messy worker, as you can see, so I'm going to have a tidy up, because I am putting things down and not being able to find them. So I'll have a tidy up and I'll crack on with this. But I'm dead chuffed. I'm dead chuffed with these. I'm really pleased with the way they've turned out. Anyway, hopefully next time I'll have got those lines in and bedded down, these bedded down, and I can get on and build all of this. Dead cool. Right, well, I've put the first piece in. What a palaver, this joint. My god. You may remember that this rail was about that long. If you look at the last video, you'll see that. What happened was I was trying to join it, and all of this rail came out of the sleepers, clipped out of the stuff. I don't know what it is. There's two different types of flexi-track. My new flexi-track is a much better one, I think. This stuff is like really. Is it this one? You know, this is the new stuff, and it's quite stiff. I think. Hang on, let me have a look. That's new. Yeah, that's new. I don't know where any of the old stuff is. But anyway, the old stuff is quite bendy. Yeah. Anyway, what a palaver. Just getting this in. Learnt a lot though. I'll show you the first version of this point in a second. Let me pin this rail out of the way. I'll join that up there, and then I can show you the train. So that should just. They've got like little guides on at the end. I didn't know that, but they have anyway. Right, so here's a train. If you actually see, you can see it's banked quite nicely. Pretty cool. Anyway, bear with me. Sorry about that, you've got a headache. So yeah, I'll just run it through, shift that wire. And it takes the point lovely, and it will go off into the station. So yeah, it's good. Quite pleased that it actually goes over, and when it goes over, I'm getting a click, which is what I was after. So yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, I'll show you this first point that I did. What a disaster. Right, here's the first point, the first attempt, and on the surface it looks fine, but to be honest it's an absolute disaster. What happened was, there's a little wire that sticks out here, and it said to solder onto that. Well, the video did. I was looking at a video for 00. Anyway, So I soldered onto that first and it fell off. Then I thought, alright, so I dug out the plastic and scraped off the stuff and thought I'll solder onto that, which I did, and it's quite well. It's a bloody strong joint, that. Yeah. The only problem is, when I turned it over, a bit of melted plastic on this side, and all the frog had pushed out, and obviously it's derailing trains there because as the wheel comes across here, it hits this, jumps off, and you can't be having that. So what I've decided to do with these now is this rail. So where are we? The rail that's going that way, I'm going to extend it to about there. Yeah, so I'll solder an extra bit of rail onto that far, which then means I can solder a wire. Yeah, so I can solder a wire to that joint, to that rail, and drop that down to the polarity switch, which then should switch the whole frog. So insulate there, insulate up there, and then connect everything else normally, and that should get around it, because these are very, very small, really small. You know, when you see this next to a piece of double O or HO track, it's like, do you know what I mean? It is tiny. I think also, I mean, the wire is too thick, and I also think I've spoilt my soldering iron because I left it on for too long and it's burnt the tinning off the end. So now there's only one little bit that actually works. So it makes it quite awkward. So I've got to get a new tip for my soldering iron. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning as I go along, which is good really. But there you go. So there's one for the scrap. I said I'd have one scrap at least, but there it is. Hopefully it's the last one. I'm going to swap the points at the, well, I'm going to make one point over there a short point anyway, I think, because it'll give me a better angle off, and it'll be on the up, so trains won't be going that fast out of the station, so it shouldn't look that daft. Right, let's get on. I'll just quickly show you what I mean about what I was talking about extending these points. Now, this is N gauge, small radius electrofrog turnout, streamline, fine scale. Okay, so as you can see, you've got this frog here. If you turn it over, right, you've got rail joiners coming in there. Okay, so what I've done is they would be insulated rail joiners in a normal scenario. Obviously you need to cut that, which is a beast to get out, because that's actually the polarity from the carrier rail. So there you go. So what I've done is, as you can see here, I've cut this out, and I've put two metal rail joiners in, soldered across the two. Right, let's just make sure that this is an immovable joint. Right, so now I've extended the frog all the way up these rails here, so now I can just insulate them there, and I haven't melted my point. But previously I was trying to solder, I was digging this out and soldering into that point there, because there was nowhere else to solder, you see, because you couldn't actually get up inside this portion here to drop a rail without melting all of this bit here. So that's my way around it. It's not the, I don't know whether it's the best way, but it seems to work. So, okay. So, after slightly longer than I anticipated, but it's all done. I'm not going to say it has been a walk in the park. For me, it's quite difficult. I mean, very complicated. I haven't got any short circuits. It's all fully powered, which is good. All the wires go to the right places, so that's good. So I've tested it. This bit was a bit of a bitch because I remember I'd soldered this on here. I'd measured it out all perfectly and whatever, and I cut it too short to join onto that, so I had to put a piece in, which took ages to do, and then all this came up, and it was on this point here. This isn't the point that was there originally, but I'd forgotten to drill the hole for the point motor. So I'd seen on Simon's shed, and I put a piece of metal under there and drilled up, but for me it didn't work. I ended up taking the point arm off, so I turned the point around and put it here, remembering of course to drill the hole on this side for the point motor. There are no point motors in place at the moment. I've got them, but they're not in place because I haven't got the DCC Concepts controller board that I want yet, but I'll be getting that at the end of the month, so I'll get all that wired up then. But like I say, it does work. Very arduous getting it all down, as I've said. Anyway, without further, obviously there's no point motors, so there's no polarity switches, so the extension here of this frog, the engines are sticking as they come over here, because obviously this isn't powered. It does work because I've attached the polarity wire to the correct bus line and run a train over it, and it's fine. And then obviously I switched to the opposite bus line for to go down that way. So obviously, yeah. And the same here. This frog here is a bit dodgy, but once you put power to it, they just fly through. So if it sticks, it sticks. So let's have a go. Got my Deltic, and away we go. Oops, I forgot to change the point back, didn't I? Oh well, rock and roll. Just like sped it up a bit there just to get it across that frog. Turn it around. I'll just flick this point over. Oops. Just to get it going down the branch line. Oops, there's that frog. Stop it now before it goes off the end. Turn it around. See, with a bit of speed it goes over it, especially when they're going very slow at the moment. I'll just set up for the other line. There we go. Push it onto the track. Right. Might stick on this first frog. I'll just send it up as if it's going into the TMD now. And that's here. If I can find it, there we are. There we go. stop it, bring it back. Put the points. And bring it back down into what will be the station. You should be able to see the banking from here. And there you go. Very happy indeed. That's a bit of a major achievement. I can now replace all the drawing pins with glue, so I'll glue it all down now that I know it works. So thanks for watching and bearing with me for this probably quite long video. Catch you in the next one. Oh, the next thing I've got to do is, oops, if I can get it open with one hand, bear with me. Work out how to use these brass things. So these are the brass dowels for lining up the board. Once I've got these in, you see, I can sort out this bit of track. So basically fix all this down, then cut the track in the knowledge that well, it cuts it there actually, in the knowledge that it will go back in the same place. Okay. Alright, well, as I said, thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Bye.